We look at the work of the conscious masculine. The masculine brings structure. The masculine provides structure. And I notice for myself these aspects of my life where it's like I've got all this energy, I've got all this power, but if it's not yielded and wielded properly or stewarded correctly, it's going to be mass chaos. For me, a couple of those are food and fitness, money, I talk about all these, and finally, sex and pornography. These are areas, it's like our life force energy. And if we don't bring structure, if we don't bring a framework to them, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be disorder. We may find ourselves in a big mess.
Welcome back, podcast land. Fellas out there, dads, fathers, husbands, men. Welcome back to the Recovered Dad podcast. I am your host, Yaden Smith, along with my partner in recovery, co-host Matthew Sinkovitz. Matt, good to see you today.
Yaden, it's good to be here.
It looks like it's slightly warming up there. You're not wearing a beanie cap anymore.
It is a pretty chilly, rainy day here in central Pennsylvania, and I, for one, am enjoying it.
Oh man, it's like 89 degrees.
Yeah,
down here in South Carolina, and I am grateful for air conditioning.
Heard that.
Man, it's good to see you today. I know that we got some good stuff to talk about, right? It's always the hindsight. Today's one of those hindsight is 2020.
That's it.
It's like, it seems obvious as I look back, but it's rarely obvious in real time.
That's right.
In life.
That's right.
So walk us through what you got for us this week, Matt.
Yeah, brother. So thank you so much and welcome in. It's great to have you here today and be here with you today. Today I want to touch on 3 things that I wish I knew I needed when I began my recovery journey. Because as Yaden mentioned, yes, hindsight is 2020. And sometimes, oftentimes, many times, we can't see this stuff until we bang our head. I can't see this stuff until I bang my head. I gotta drift off the road. I gotta hit the potholes. I gotta fall in the pit,
Hit that rumble strip. Exactly. Okay, I'm awake.
Exactly. And as I know is the case for me, maybe you can relate, Yaden, brothers out there, maybe you can relate. Sometimes we just can't see this stuff, and we have to have the experience because we can't see what we can't see until we see it. That's just the nature of life. I mean,
yep.
Recovery or anything else. And it also speaks to the importance, I think, of being in community, being around, being on in a program, part of a process, part of a brotherhood with other men who are on this journey, because we can help each other see these things and say, you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. Trust me,
right.
Don't go that way, or watch out for this one, because this one will blindside you. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how we collectively help each other here, is this collective wisdom. So I want to give you guys three pieces of the puzzle that I think are critical to anybody doing this work and on this recovery journey. Number 1 is a system or a structure, some kind of process. I liken it to, if there's anything in my life that is worthwhile accomplishing, maybe I can figure it out myself, right? That is maybe one way. Maybe you can learn an instrument on your own, but I don't know how it's gonna turn out. But for me, if I want to learn an instrument, following a process is really the way to do it. There is a system, there is a structure, there is a pathway. The most ideal way is just to hire a teacher. That's typically, if I want to learn an instrument, I hire an instructor. If we want to learn a martial art, if we want to grow in our physical fitness, if we want to learn a business skill, right? Following a path, following a proven process is the most surefire way to get there in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of mistakes, right? Yeah. We don't have to do it by ourselves.
Yeah, that's why franchises exist.
Yeah.
It's you're buying the process and the business model and the systems.
Exactly.
You don't have to recreate the wheel.
Exactly. Maybe we can figure it out on our own, but man, we might extend the learning curve by 20 years, and maybe still not get it. So following a proven process, a system, a structure, having a system or structure at all. You think about, if you wanted to make it to the top of Mount Everest, maybe you could figure it out on your own. I know for me, if I was going, I'm going to hire the best Sherpas that my pocketbook can afford, and follow the guys who have been up the mountain ahead of me. You know, so following a proven process, and with that, like having an actual structure, having an actual system around this. In the Noble Council, which is kind of like the next level tier, once men complete the boot camp, if they're wanting to continue on in the journey with us, one of the options is Noble Council. We went through a book, I think it was last year, Yaden, around systems.
Yeah.
And it said, if there's an aspect of your life where you continue to experience failure, it's because you're lacking a system. You're lacking a structure. We look at the work of the conscious masculine. The masculine brings structure. The masculine provides structure. And I notice for myself these aspects of my life where it's like I've got all this energy, I've got all this power, but if it's not yielded and wielded properly or stewarded correctly, it's going to be mass chaos. For me, a couple of those are food and fitness, money. I talk about all these, and finally sex and these are areas. It's like our life force energy, and if we don't bring structure, if we don't bring a framework to them, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be disorder, and we may find ourselves in a big mess. So bringing structure and bringing systems to this aspect of our lives is super critical. And I find the more structure, the more systems that I can bring to this work to support me, like scaffolding, the better I do, and the better chance I have at success.
The less mental load it takes.
Oh yeah.
It's like, this is just my system.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
This is my morning routine. This is my evening, whatever it is.
Yaden, you've had food modeled, really consistently for some time now. I'm finally getting the food piece dialed in, but weighing and measuring, doing your tracking, like all the different, like having a system around these areas is so helpful. And as you mentioned, it just lessens that mental bandwidth. We don't have to think about it. We just follow the system, right?
Like, I know this is what I'm doing.
Here's what I got to do. And the more we're willing to become just non-negotiable with our systems, I think the better chances we have at success. Yeah. So need a system, need a proven process, need a pathway. Number one. Number two, now this is like so basic, right? But I want to elaborate on some of these ideas. It's accountability. It's accountability, right? And so like, right? Like how many of us like have like, oh, I need an accountability partner. I need more accountability around in my life or any area of our life where we know that like we're struggling on our own. We want to grow. But I want to like speak to like just the importance of actually having like accountability in your life that actually sticks. That's actually meaningful. Because Yaden, can you relate to having an accountability partner, right? We said we're going to meet every week, we're going to talk every week, we're going to call every day, and either one, it just falls off, or number two, you're just both lying to each other.
I've done both.
Both, right?
I've done both, right?
Yeah.
Generally, you start with the second one. We're just like, oh, yeah, I'm good. And then you just stop texting each other. You stop calling because you know you're not good.
Yes. When I started doing this work and began putting this program together, I was doing work around accountability, and I found a definition of accountability was something like accountability is the glue which ties the action to the result, or the desired outcome to the result. It's like the glue that holds everything together. To me, visibility also brings in the conversation of accountability. So it brings in the conversation of visibility, right? I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to be seen. It's like we talk about this when shame dies, when stories are told in safe places. It's like we look at and how it typically resides, the behavior, the activity in the darkness, in the shadows of life. And the actual healing comes through, as counterintuitive as it may feel, the actual healing comes through bringing these aspects of ourselves and these aspects of our lives into the light. And we're seen and we're witnessed by others, and we begin to heal. We begin to heal by bringing sunlight to the darkness. So accountability is tied into visibility, right? Having men in your life that can help hold you accountability. We look at, I think most of us in the community right now, I think every one of us now have some kind of accountability software on their devices. And I know several of us, myself, I personally have a relationship with several men in the community, including Yaden, and we meet several times a week, and just a quick check-in. But I've got people in my life who are actually my accountability partners, like people that matter. Because depending on how long you've been tuning into this podcast, you may remember my story about my early experiences with accountability software, where I went all out and I had my mom and my pastor as my accountability partners. And I said, oh man, I just know if these are my accountability partners, my relationship with is over. So I did a very vulnerable thing. I had the right idea, but I didn't have any real ongoing conversation with these people. I didn't have any.
Bless your heart, Matt, as we say down here. Yeah. Bless your heart.
Well, thank you, Yaden. I did my best, but it wasn't the right relationships. These relationships I wasn't talking about with my mom. I was not talking about with my pastor. I wasn't even far enough along in my own personal development journey to really have these conversations authentically. So over time, we had the conversation and then it just went away. And over time, what happened? That software was just gone off my devices and there was no more conversation and it was just over with. So I think having accountability partners and people in your life and relationships in your life that really matter, like relationships where you've really got skin in the game.
Yeah.
Like for me, I've got accountability relationships with men in our community. So I'm accountable to members of our community, and it just holds me to a very high degree of integrity. They know which devices are supposed to be monitored. They know every week there's supposed to be these 2 devices. Here's what we're looking for. And it just supports me so tremendously. And I notice when I've got like accountability software on my device, plus men in my life who are witnessing it consistently, man, my online conduct is just like, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to like click on this chick's picture. Just maybe I'm like genuinely curious about the post, but I'm like, nope. She's also in a low cut top or a bikini. So then it's going to pop up.
I wonder if she sells fans online. I'm just curious.
Right.
We know she does.
Right. So I'm like, I'm not even clicking on this post because it's going to pop up and then I'm going to have to explain it. As a matter of fact, I was watching just like a stupid skit by this comedian last night on like a reel. And it was like in a tropical setting and there were women in bikinis. And I was like, after a minute or two, I realized, oh no. And I wasn't there for the skin. I was watching the skit, but I'm like, oh no, I bet this is going to show up my report. Now I got to talk to the guy.
This is going to get flagged.
Exactly. And now I got to backtrack. So yeah. So for me, I notice when I've got like really high quality accountability in my relationships, real true honesty and authenticity with relationships where I can be transparent and honest, relationships that actually I've got, stake in them, man, it really changes the game. Because when I'm witnessed at that level, I just show up differently.
And Matt, on this one, on accountability, right? I think oftentimes when men start this whole accountability thing, specifically around, it really is, I know it was for me, it's kind of based on shame, right? It's like, if I can make this so shameful, that will help me stay away from it. If I can make it so bad and just like make the stakes so high, that will help force me to stay away from it. That was my mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
And now my mentality is not, I know your mentality is not that. Now my mentality that we work on inside of the Recovered Dad, we work on in the Liberation Bootcamp is, hey, this is not shame-based. This is not fear-based. We're not trying to guilt anybody. We're trying to help men grow into the men they know they want to be.
Yep.
And that is a messy journey.
Yep.
It's a messy journey, and you need somebody there so that for when you fall, it's like, hey, man, yeah, I've fallen 1,000 times myself.
Yep.
Let me help you back up. Ain't no shame.
Yeah.
How can we help? Like, let's, put on the detective hat to figure out what happened so that you can learn from this instead of just, well, don't do it again.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, man, accountability.
So we got structure.
Yeah.
We got accountability.
We got accountability. And so let me just wrap this piece up. So accountability, like so basic, right? Duh. But I think there's so much more depth available to that conversation, right? And there's so much more we can bring into it. By the way, I have an inspired thought. I know, as I mentioned, I've got accountability software on my device. Several of them in our community do. We've tried out a number of them. I know Yaden has a different one. I'm doing a little research right now. I'm going to do my best to drop a link into the show notes to this episode to one of our affiliates that we've used before, an accountability provider that actually we've used before. They're tried and tested and true, and we like the results. So I'm going to drop a link to that. And typically, if we can, typically what we're able to offer is like an extended trial for some of these softwares, like a 14 or 30-day trial. You guys can put some software on your device and try it out for 30 days and see how it works for you and actually get some accountability systems in place. So Gerald, if you're listening, remind me to drop the link down below. Okay. And so number 3, so thank you, Yaden. So we've got structure, we've got accountability, and number 3, we've kind of touched on this as a whole, but it's community.
Yes.
You've got to have community, right? I know for me, my journey with did not really begin to really progress in a meaningful way until I got into community. And that ties in the accountability piece as well, but like a place where you can, one, be on the journey and on the path with other men who are doing this work and normalize the conversation. And as Yaden just spoke to, like remove the charge, discharge the conversation that so we can just have a normal conversation and be like, oh, I'm not the only weirdo. I'm not the only pervert. Or maybe I'm not such a weirdo after all. Maybe I'm just like every other man out there, but we're just not having the conversation today because it's a scary conversation. And there is so much shame around it, right? So getting into community with other men who are having this conversation, we can normalize it. We can learn from other men who are following a structure, who are following a process. We can learn from one another. And we can, maybe most importantly, begin to just be witnessed. Because as we mentioned earlier, shame dies when stories are told in safe places. We create community and we create a healthy environment where we can be honest about what's going on for us. And as we do, man, it begins to heal and it provides safety in this recovery journey, which is, I would argue, maybe the fundamental, like, important piece of the puzzle is like having a safe environment to do this work. So we don't have to hide and we don't have to lie and we don't have to be operating in shame anymore. So community. And again, I think like a community like what we're up to is a great option. You've got a handful of men to build relationships with, and you've got a wider support network. But it could also be a therapist, like someone that you check in with on a regular basis. I know I did work with a therapist, and that was also a really pivotal moment in my recovery journey when I hired this therapist, and he came from like a mindfulness therapy perspective, and he was also an IFS, internal family systems guy, and it was one of the first times I have another teacher in my life who provides a beautiful, safe space. But I was like, man, I really want to disclose everything to this guy, but I'm scared to. And he's like, Matt, listen. He said, I am a safe. And no matter what you tell me, it stays here. Like, he offered me that. And I'm like, finally. And to like be able to share and be honest and really spill like the darkest aspects of your journey or your soul with somebody and just trust that, man, there's such freedom in that, and there's such healing, and it's such a gift. If you can find that space of just non-judgment, and I can really unload here and I don't feel judged. So critical, and community really helps provide it. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a church group. Like, again, it's got to be the right relationship. But such a critical piece of
you'll know it when you find it, right? It's like,
right.
It's like, you'll know when you know.
You'll breathe a little easier. Yeah. So critical piece of the puzzle. I mean, in the Noble Code, which we recite every week on our calls, we say, I take refuge. Take refuge in the community. It's like, man, we don't have to do this alone. We don't have to lone wolf it like we've been doing it for so long, man. We can find safety with our brothers. We can find safety with other men who are going to support us, like encourage us when we're doing great, and extend a hand when we fall down and say, come on, let's keep going together.
Matt, I think of how, as a dad, I want to be my son's 3 a.m. phone call, right? When my son finds himself in the shit and is overwhelmed and flooded, and life is really trying to wreck them, like, call me, right? My 13-year-old son he walks downstairs, stomping around. I'm like, bro, you okay? Something is eating at you. That stuff is too heavy to carry by yourself. That is why I'm here as your father. I know if you're out there listening as a dad, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Your kids are carrying around such heavy burdens. You're like, man, if you would just tell me, I could help. I could just help carry it.
Yep.
Even if you just say it out loud, we get to be that safe space for our children if we are actually curating that safe space.
Yeah.
But one of the things it takes to be that safe space is we have to experience that safe space for ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
We have to be able to unpack the darkness we carry around, the darkness that latches onto us, and be able to just dump it in a safe space where there is no judgment.
Yes.
Where men can say, yeah, man, I see you.
That's it.
And I see you and I've been there.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Whew.
No, it's good, man. Thanks for
that was the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Hey, preach, brother. Preach. So, brothers, structures and systems. Number 2, accountability. Number 3, community. Critical pieces of the puzzle. And I would say if any one of those pieces are gone, there's an important piece absent.
There's a gap.
Yeah.
There's a gap.
Yeah. So if this conversation resonates, if you recognize like, oh man, I got this piece, but not that piece, or maybe I got them all, but they're not strong, or maybe I got them all, but I'm still struggling. This is the work. This is exactly the work that we're up to inside of the Recovered Dad community. We got a community of men following a proven path, a proven system. We got a community of men who are supporting one another and sharing the stuff that works, sharing the systems and the processes that work. We've got real deal accountability. I'm a participant in it of myself. We got the real deal stuff, a place where men can show up and be visible and be seen and be held to their word, and great commitments around one another. And ultimately all of that is encapsulated inside of the safety of a community, which is a critical place to be able to show up. So brothers, if this conversation resonates, if you're curious about what we're up to, if you're curious about learning more, if you want some free resources, we want to invite you to head on over to therecovereddad.com. You can learn more about the community. You can download a free version of the Father's Freedom Framework, which walks you through the 4-rack formula, our process to help cultivate greater levels of awareness in your journey with. And if you're interested, learn about the boot camp and book a call with Aiden or myself. We'd love to connect with you and support you in your walk.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for caring.
Yep.
Y'all out there listening, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading. We'll see you on the next episode. In the meantime, peace.
Thanks,
power.
Brothers. Peace, power. Noble men.
Noble men.
Thanks, guys.